ya mwakwa ba de ba dwumadie no eso we Ghana nie ebre na no pe atenase ye de ebro mi de akwasi ofori se obeka ya be se na wotwe awie ye weekend ukokumawu a by elections ahodo ekoso wo hono na by elections na ekoso ne duru hono a amanyoku ahodo kokobonto ase de be ye beboa na omo candidate atimadi enkunim nti se ukọ kumawu ntemo MPP candidate gina ho ono so wo hwe ni mu se beto aba ede amano sanso na NDC candidate gina ho so ono so wo se beto aba ede amano independent candidate mienu enso eka ho omo so wo hwe se ye beto aba ede amamo na eno na his excellency na adodan kwakufado ekoya odi enkomo na asemba akọ kan ne se emu se nipa bebri na eka se omampanyini Akufo-Addo wantimi antoto ne maye ntina enne Ghana yekwa Imf yekwa akọbọ bosia yekwa akọji sika wo efi se omo ba betena akonye so omo hyebo se Imf de enya de se yebekọ de efi se wa mo obra yi a na akọ hono mo kwaje emoa enne de sa asem kro na bi ato omo mo so atutumrika akọ akọtena ho enne omo ye de omo betumi bia sempo omo be meet Imf conditionalities na yetimi yede sasika 3 billion US dollars a day amomo yenya ntie se emu efa bi a 600 million US dollars de yensa ebeka no animanimu ye ya na eno nso yede atutu dwane yede atutu ye niema ahodo aka esese yede eye na eno ho nkomo titiriwe na ye ba bedi omampanyin se enye ono na ya amo ne breye ne mo mewiase ahokyere ba ya mansan nyina so COVID-19 ho nsensem sanso na Russia ni Ukraine toko mode aboso a ebesi ne nyina omo nko emue nso eka ehu bi na ama sanse kasemwe ene ho nsensem nyina aba na oka de asisu se nye nko a amanoni nkura hodo bebre akọ sanso na oba Africa ha ikube edunu eni akire na omo so ewo IMF a omo hwese yebetimi abo omo na omo sikasem ni mo ntutuye no so etimi akọ eyi nti na yatenase yepese yede ho nkomo twetwe ede ebro na nso etimiti ase pa nti enne mene Mr Peter Tekpe a oye tax expert and financial analyst wo fie hanoma ede nkomo so nkokra ede ebro se me makwa
pacho mejeoso
nyambia boko de
pacho nyamia doma bia ho ye
yede nyamia se ye ache
papa
na dwuma se
pacho nyamia de dwuma wo ye boko pa
okay yede nyamia se adwumam eye boko na ansa na yebehye ye nkomo no ase no mamemfa happy birthday sunkwe emfa ma me ankasa me ba bai ye friend no Nana Ama Safoa ene Nana Ama Safoa edi mfie mienu ukọ Apostle Safo School a ewo achiase a ehonum na owo a ono so ye school ni wo ho ene me bai edi afe anka ne mfie ho na se wadi mfie mienu pepe nti nas me gina sa kwanya we so no ma we show happy birthday me ne dada ne mama nyina e we show happy birthday yesre se nyame mfomfra adumu enko adumu na de ode ehye wo se brabaye e wiase bia ontimi e ma onye oma wani monyam oma wa hode oma onimdie na oma onipa nim ni nyame animu adum na oma onyini emra meye panyimpa nti nas nyame enhyira na onye okese pa wo Kantanka TV ye do bebre esra hode ene nkonimdie ede emau sey ba nti koso ana ya akwala papa na nyame enwuso a enhyira sanzo na adusuafo a mo wo Apostle Safo School a wachi ase nyina so ejina sakwanya we so na ya chia obibia ni akyerkyerefo ne mpanyimfo ho nyina ya chia obia ya da mo ase nti ye de eno asi na ye kọ na afi yakọ akotoa ye nkomo twetwe ne so se na midi kan no ena wo hwe IMF ni omudwumadie ene se de esi ekoya na se fatase ye di ho enkomo sika ya ba ekwan be na ye befa so ye di bedi dwuma so eso emfaso no ebetimi aba na aba beboai ede na sese ye toto na se antoto a ye besa akoye dada mu biom na ya san akọ se ye kwa akọje sika eno ene ya tenase mene Mr Peter Tekpe ebedi ho enkomo mesa mo akwa ba
pacho mejeoso
yo mate ene yenhwe eba wankasa ugina ye eba wankasa opinions and also views ewo bailout ho asen na ohu no wefa
pacho me da se na mechia omo mutie ye no mo hwe ye nyina
okay
wo hwe IMF Kuna we are the 17th time Ghana yeko. Now we share history now. Almost on average every 5 years. Yeko ho.
Wow.
Now we share so ho na yeko no so no. Yeko ho because of ahuchere. Se oman no ho ache na oman no hiamwa. Na an average of 5 years now make kaya no so no. Mrea most of the time no government are etwemu a omo koye no normally is after their first term.
Wow.
Inti o share
Oya 4 years ni we are.
Oya 4 years ni we are. O we need next election na ni next term na aka no.
O de bakwa.
Within the first 2 years no na ho kire aba. Inti o share your problem na ni your overspending during the election time. Inti say to me control election time spending na ebe boa yempa because nipa no take power niama koso kama nti hu se aban we take office no na the first 2 years the first term no na the macroeconomic indicators na nyina ya okay things were moving in the right direction until say when things became okay then akoyese sisi ade
niama
yenti yebetumi akoyese lose guard akoyese individual na sikaba wonsem brana sikani ni wonsem de ututu niama yi sikani ba wonsem pe niama wa hyehye se wanga sa obeye no na ne nyina ko da baby na fe de o refikra na o start se o spend nti ade a udi ba nipa bra bomo a sa na tigi se wo ye very disciplined e wo niama bi ho nti sa de a udi ma ekomde wo se den na ana waketu akra bia yetua wo ejuma mu e fansa ache na wo hwe nim se beba na wa ye wadwe se ba wo be ye abcd sikane ba wo yi a niam a wo se wo be ye wan hwe yi a wo be fi na fe wo be ye bibi fufuro scan be san dia na nka wo se wo dis scan ye no want me aye nti de bia no na fe se e kada ho nti wo hwe udi ba Ghana so ya femu a this is how we be managing ourselves nti ade a enye the NTD ko IMF no even though adepama or my Ghana no enye asempama the managers of Ghana the IMF na ye ko ye no na sika e ba esese ano say ye beje mo ano ma o my Ghana if so fe no baby o my Ghana ko no ye hiamwa na omo hwe Ghana so no it should be a cause for concern and worry for them obi a hwe Ghana so bia no this time even though you see aba it's not time for celebration for those who, negotiated, who were managing Ghana. It shouldn't be time for them to jubilate. It should be time for them to be concerned as to why we went there. And that is why the current finance minister and the current government says that going to IMF is a no-go area. Let us say, or mine more never boa mine. But ye ni pani there, you should not be happy, say you have achieved something. No. For me, it's just a energy.
Me pacho sa sika we omode emai. Isika omode family, omode free and na say e besa kwa ba betua. Eni hunsi hu.
Enye free. Sika busua omode amaye. Eno ntina omode sika no emaye no. Omu hwe se omu hu se bebia usikasem ekodru no eka wo de no ye di ma want to be ntua ma me ma practical example ye fa say wo ko gi loan wo bank bank no be hwe usika uji oketua uji e na ehu sika loan na wo betumi agi nti fa na say wo loan bi a erani dida na say wo ko gi sika wo bank e be ka just say de bi e san say wo loan ya erani dida nti untumi gi dodo ekopim sei e fe say ye di ma wa
untumi ntua
gi say uteso eno ntina eba na se IMF kan se de bi musmu ye hwe mu ka mu dia ye de sky mamwa muntumi entua ana muntumi hwe so yie eno nti munko ye kwa mo be fa so munko hwe kwa mo be fa so a mo be te mu ka so eno ntina ho aka oba se ye de ye ni omo a ye de obokan be tena se na ye nkasa biom that is what brought the debt restructuring into both local and domestic ye ni omo nko tena se ndu IMF onim se this kind of the braille no men can say men hwe ne say ye free wo so betua eno nti wo ka na odi no ye di mawa emboa nti kwan bia obefa so a odi beti so no kofa na ye hu say wo di aba pempeso bi ansana under normal circumstances no e wo say oman no the afraid be debt to GDP. Debt to GDP ni chere say ye hwe e ka wo di any income. Ye fa no say wo income e 1,000 cedis na e ka wo di e 800 and chere say wo ka any wo income ye hwe percentage a e 80 because 800 and a car would the and our income ye 200 1,000. There's a space I come out 200. Into a car now dinner 800 a debt and a income no 1,000 into your share debt to GDP now. It was through and can average now say about a whole around 55%.
Wow.
But ye then qua coprim 100 a broso. A quadruple being a broso.
So
I feel no a quadruple being so a bar from crap around 90. This is it. Space aka no esa afi so omo aye di omo kawa manone our debt no I will say on average it should be around 18% to GDP. It was over around 42%. Into share indicators no nyina were off. So whilst we're borrowing, we're not looking at these indicators. But on say according to say Nipa, when your income begin to increase and expand, you look for how much additional money can I take. In this way, Nipa na say yetua o kana bia o ko uji loan na o hwe say hey market you e bi mu kra ginu in advance say ye beto market you am nti mo ma me denu mi ko gi loan say aha it's an Nipa Ghana mine so yeah GDP no the how the economy is growing. Until when the economy is expanding let's just say space abim and now omo ka say and crisis no niam ba form ukana because of restructuring into our form now so enunti me mfa enunti say odi kuko agoji sika enti na omo di conditions aba say esan say ye boa wo no ye boa wo say obegina wo nan so enunti ye ABCD
ansana
enti omo begina wo so saa kopem say on say ye 3-year period na saa 3 years no akodi say school ni a ye di aba agina ne so say ye we enti na we ka say eye asempa edima o my Ghana but enye asempa edima o mo hwe Ghana so both current and previous government a omo ko IMF nyina
yes omo ne ni ye kra omo want to to omo ne maye
omo want to to omo ne maye na eye nukre enti e was say we should be able to openly admit say as leaders say ye bibia enye eno na be ma omo aye ye di omo nim ne hu say ampa nyama bi wo anka yantumi aye ne ye wo look at example. And sana ye be call COVID neighbor won say ye the two things. Those are the reasons. COVID and Russia. And then ye COVID ni Russia or China be baby fufro. Inti this crisis will continue to come. And so how are you going to manage yourself? Omo ye see we are saying na affect you COVID. But omo ye call mo hoko jisika no sisi ano. They were also affected by the same crisis. And then even though the economy is big, but what to me manage you here and to me understand before the IMF no ye call euro bond euro market enya $1 billion.
Yeah.
World Bank my $1 billion. Central banks my $1 billion. So we got $3 billion. The same sika go Jesus it even we caught it within before the COVID around February thereabout. February March. Unfortunately, just when COVID came, all this $3 billion was spent. We got a lot of money also from COVID for support. We couldn't manage it ourselves. Sisiano, we are going to IMF. They are giving us $3 billion in 3 years. But you got $3 billion within a year. They will come and explain and tell you why it was so. But the Ukraine said, and he said, well, we should be able to admit certain things openly. Say, this is the reason. He said, yen defending whatever sana. Wa udi adine nimu na udi o mine nimu no. Omo say that when you were not in government, you were criticizing the same thing. I didn't know who say udi ni is different. Who say who share a bind be or our crisis or your crisis.
Yeah.
Into crisis no. Who to me ka say mimi de no so chen obi de. De bi mi ka say ne obi hia 1 cedi. So the better aduane edi. Na say aduane no 1 cedi ne beto me so no. Na obi so mreso e 10 cedi ne beto mate aduane ma na. Who to me ka say me 10 cedis na me de beto edane no eson chen wo de ni ntino me de na no odin chen wo de baby
ebi open so scale wo ho no
open so no scale wo ho no
na one cedi ya de pa
exactly inti umre so no crisis e ba ye no inti men ka say wo crisis no eson chen obi crisis we don't give those excuses as leaders. So I was say who say kwan ben e be fa so a obetumi manage hu inti na IMF edi conditions eto amaye no into hwe even though a sempa maye e be boa in some way no there are both pluses and minuses, negatives and positives of the IMF bailout. Inti the be kan say o hwe ade ne pa kwan e say ye fa so a ye be prevent say ye be call IMF almost every 5 years no. And I was say na yen to me tightening your belt. Say na be ya yen to be call IMF.
So where IMF any ho komo any hipika o mampanyi dada akofo ade ekoya enso so ye be na dasa na ma we mienu ntem
ni ya de kro na ne ekoya no ya ho kire eno so sa time no 2000
yeah
yen to me manage ye ho yie na wo hwe there was overspending in that election year.
Yeah.
Inti Omampeyin Kufo Beba no. Now the coffers were very dry. So he has no option because he couldn't have run the country. He couldn't have run the country. So we have become leaders that we say, oh, memria someko. The basic biano and family. And the Obeba no on be manage.
The Obeba no meto aso.
Eba no sa na na wama o minor omo the citizens no ebre heninti udi ni pe ni ma so hu say kwan be na me fa so ma ni pa ho atono because we have examples where other nations are. We have seen how selfless leaders are. When they are wrong, they admit they are wrong. And when they have to resign, they admit, I am wrong, let me leave the scene. Because when him say, nipa, we don't say, so be resigning until Obin so resigning, but we are saying, say, quite better, be fast, I bet me manage here. Let things become better. And even let the same government be in power. Things will overturn. So what is the reason? Adina the IMF na yekoye no. Conditions na eba no. Niema ayesi yebeye no. Enye IMF na ka che yen yo. Ya na ye proposal de call ye say niema yebeye ni. Nature say we have the capable men to manage the country. So much ye were more than enough in Krofwa or Betuma share or mine so. They have the capacity, but the political will to take certain decisions are not there. Hence, I was say, ye ankasa ye tina se ne kan say nti den na ye be ya se na be ya daachi no chana ma we no ebi ensi nti ye bia ye kɔ yenim no ye be bubo sa nyama no so na ya hwɛ
nti ene ye hwɛ na ye mo boss sa nyama no so ye political ene de ye kɔ ana say ye economy na ankasa na ye hwɛ ntutu nyama ina ma de bi etimi ekɔ IMF mfie num bia ene wasete record ni straight mfie num bia ye kɔ IMF eye amanyofo ana amanyosem a ye no wa ha ene ma ye de ekɔ ana se sikasem ntutuye no na yenye ne ye na ma de bi etimi kɔ saa mefo no.
Number 1 over promising during election campaigns and political. Number 1 political.
Okay.
On say obi eba aban mu a kwan bi obefa so a obeka asem ebe ye de awo nipa som no e wo se oka nti omo make promises with social interventions and projects and programs on person they don't have any credible funding plan. Nti no se person me ye we now so oni kwan obefa so benye sika e de aye sa de no nti de wo na dwuma ne se oba obeba beboro oba be jibusu e de aye no se aban so no aban ejuma oye nyina dodo na enye ejuma e de sika beba kwan dodo aye no ye ntumi nkofa to boot ensi kwan bia so say ye ji sika de atua kwan de ka hospitals aban AC aban ntumi ka say Messi hospital and until we go hospital bia na so of tiaka na ye fa tia hospital ne ka and it's not private hospital ne board in government hospital school aban AC aban to make say me see school
dining or this scanning in
into the bear because o see school dining we am for be come school is na be tian so no e wo for into wo hwa yen to me generate enough money aban bia sa na te wo bia se nyina want to me nya enough revenue for your project because most of your project no any commercial project this kabeba and don't tell say we have to set our priorities right into adiba ko say any say aban every political party bia no when they are setting their manifestos niama o muso mbeye no e wo say yenya a body a e be hwe ndia wo se wo ba aban ma wo beye wo be nya scan free if it is not credible it must be taken out because say e ba no sa na wo the pressure aba beto o mine so ama ahunche we aba because untumi nye ni nyina the fans will be say oba education at the university level are free. How?
And also a kafufro.
And also a kafufro.
Obedience can be free no dia.
Yes, because already the universities no state universities no schools of mutiano already no government is subsidizing. And no cramp on assemble. After the oba kakra no mutiampo di support no o si oba o mutia hwe. Most of the private universities who they are struggling because it's not easy. Until we be so about Obama university education are free. Quite one of the first university education are free. We saw about Obama from primary to senior high free. It's kind of free.
Oh, the bay.
Until I was saying institutions are sa plan u policy ana u program. Ina yan kase okay. Quite obe first their program. Very good. Ebeboa. Nanso. Who the pressure about two or minus so. And don't say. Even though a woo dear, a woo idea, ye be wow, quite a fast way the amana ye. We agree, say what you are saying you do is good. It's your idea. Nemo, esan say, or mind whom be training tea. Your mind be or how much is na ye womb sisiano. Because of that, inti, esan say, opsu be yen enough freno. Say no, say, oh, yeno.
Okay.
Inti, everybody accepts, say, it's your policy. But there are people who are analyzing the policy to tell you how credible you fund that policy. You don't necessarily have, because you say you have limited time, 4 years, it will soon come.
And say, only Maya now Motai Kase, based on their okay. Only Maya Motai Kase, as I say, Ghana Hayanya national development agenda, regardless of the Obeba. Ababetna akunya ne subia sa developmental agenda na say projects no ena oni akro onhwe so ebia sa mmiri ye pese yesi afiwe sa ne ma na na edi akire say enye no enwi ya yenti yensam firi ho mfa nko ba bi foforo se da be obi manifesto mu bosha wahye emfa haw ni sikasem ntoto ye basabasa se de okay emfa ma ye behia sa de no
ye what we call National Development Planning Commission. A authority Ghana. They have a very credible plan, like 50 years plan for Ghana.
Why are we not using it?
Perfect. Because it's not being used because the politicians think that or no Obano or Kitani agenda. Enti mimbeye na minyahu anko mame. You see, our understanding of leadership is different. Because Obano, the way I hear politics now, I hear funding politics now, I hear very serious. I don't say, wako obia buano, ene anope na meti majority leader I say on average, you know, it takes about $600,000. The previous election to fund a parliamentary election as a MP. Wow. CCI to be around $1 million. So if you fund $1 million, say $10 million CDs. Just to become a parliamentarian.
Very expensive.
How much is your salary? So it is very expensive, very serious.
And how did you even accumulate size kavunyane?
Perfect. There is so much pressure on them. The MPs, the leader, there's so much pressure on them because he has to do everything to win. Look at just primaries. Look at even some of the things that we are seeing.
Elections. Look at what is going on.
Look at what is going on. Inti sa nipa no obeye omampanyin obeye oba leadership mu we a cut than isu. Inti he will not even get a sound mind to even analyze government policies. Inti no ani say, hey, project ye di be ye dia so okay, e bi be bre yan na and yenko pass it.
Benyeska wa he if you say ben say cost effective analysis say
inti we share most of these major projects and policies and loans are eba no we dey go parliament check it. Normally when it is getting to time on rise it. They just it goes
pass
through
it. Yeah
na akọ and until akọ say once is government in power, whatever the government has brought, it has to be passed. It is a who contrary view who be your enemy within your own government, within your own party. And now, disturb or minority, we should restrict some of these things. Hence, nipa na who kasa che no be who say, na nipa na who ba say who yen vote ma ono, enye sika na ukakotena ho. Because if you spend that money, when you go to parliament, they will come back and queue at home, ask for money. Because when you were campaigning, they saw how you were distributing things for them.
In fact,
when I saw that video of the person spraying the money, I said, and if I were there, say, on your leader. And because if she understands leadership, what it takes to become a parliamentarian,
yes,
because you understand the work of parliament. Parliament is purely supposed to be for technocrats, people who understand certain things, because we are going there to make policies, you are going there to make laws. And a lot of work takes place at the committee level where you contribute your intellectual understanding for things to go on. And you want to focus, you think that all you want to do is to make money, let me become an MP. So, Obiaha wa botayentia or the MP. And ama ukoye MP na bia ukrum, even if you are doing very well in parliament, say you are contributing very well. Now say you don't get money to make development project in your constituency, they will vote you out. Because that's what they use to campaign against you. Meanwhile, they know that that is not what happens in parliament. Indeed, there are some people in parliament. That's why we have to even look at the whole structure of our governance system. Whether some of the parliamentarians, because of experience, we will add them as attaches to support them in certain policies and decisions. Other than that, no, it will come to a time where parliament will be full of people who have money and they will not have time
to even make policies.
To go to parliament.
Even look through policies.
Or look through policies. So they will always be traveling. So when they become parliamentarians, they are always not in parliament. Why? Because he's traveling, going to look for business and partners to make money to pay his debt or his debt. Otherwise, next election is on the way. So they are forced to take certain decisions, not because they want to, but because of share amuche no wom na.
Yes, oh yeah.
So yeah, into obi wo a okọ ni constituency, a year be say 10 programs. Also come obi abia 200 500 oni bi. Obi wo obi di better for a cramp oni bi. Why? Because of the pressure is on them. So I will say your governance system. And not na ma amuche aba. Because how can we get over 20 billion during COVID?
And spend it.
And we spent on the COVID and we even got some to support the budget too. But you watch it. So now look at how God bless us. COVID buy na you watch it no. Among for boya ma ye nyansika bruso e di bi support your budget. So why should we say COVID ama you watch it? It's because we couldn't manage the things we are supposed to ourselves. And we have to admit it. Say no say yeah no. Eya na ye can say ya unti access ne ban say na nipa ne ko ho na ne ma sesa it's very good okasa ye dan so ko do ho na ne ma sesa denti because the powers that put him there are heavier. The real people who are in power are not ministers. Until they can tell you say you watch now they will only use way free ho because they are telling you say hey the way no this buy the year campaign until for contract ne man
sponsors.
Sponsors. So our structure, our system, that's why some are looking at funding of political parties. So if the state is funding it, then over power, we can be able to control how you spend money. Even though we cannot make it 100%, but to minimize it. Because we shouldn't be in a situation we find ourselves in now at all. Because we have there's nothing we don't have that we cannot do also. But unfortunately, no. And let me give you a typical example. That is why when you are not in government, it's very difficult. You can say some of the things. When the current NDC war position, they said a lot of things. Say, when we come, we will do this, we will do that. Oh, communication service tax, we say this, we will not allow. VAT, but also we say those things are needed. We also we take decisions that we want to please the people. And unfortunately, we are not able to admit. Say there are some taxes we buy, for instance. They claim they are nuisance taxes. Because
people are used to.
Correct.
And they look at the type of taxes.
Yes.
The kinds of
exactly. Perfect. They say anka sika NDC borrow no. If they took that money, they could have solved all the problems. They could have solved a lot of problems for Ghana. Both NDC boy. But so say buy no. We buy no. Or more than the NDC koji. But the problems of Ghana are still increasing. This is it. There are more to leadership than within. So when we mount political platform, the things we say, we are carried over by the things because we want to make the people happy. Into Yeba power, we are forced to make sure that they see a no, because the IMF say no. We know all the things.
Oh yeah.
There's nothing new they are telling us.
I am afraid, but
now they know that you can do it, but you need somebody to be on you. So you see, they're asking us to do structural reforms. They have given us somebody at the central bank to supervise certain things. Somebody will be at Ministry of Finance to look at the way we do certain things. You look at all this and you ask yourself, why?
So you bet me I share some of the economic factors and I say implications call baby equity call IMF. Also already when you catch him they share some of the political role and Nipanuinya ID you bet me I share some of the economic issues my team call IMF.
But now some of the things that might to me they call IMF they say one most of the time we set over ambitious revenue targets against our expenditure. Inti you draw budget nyama you see ye beye no e na baby asika no be free ba no. We are overly ambitious in setting revenue targets to prove say we can generate money to execute those projects. Yen to me inti sisi ano meka say akodu pempe so even our own budget must be subject to external scrutiny. Because unim say budget na wa odi abano. Sika osu di bano. And to me, sika na osu be generating no. You can't generate that money. So you'll be forced to be imposing taxes on the people. So one, we should, when we are setting revenue targets, we should set realistic revenue targets. Two, we should prioritize our expenditure. Inte niyama yesi yebeye no. Yembisa yehu say this project, what is the time span of the project? It is yes, see schools every region. Yes, see hospitals every region. See, baby, as can be free bano. Ebeye bosia no so ye kuji ni wohin. Na, I was saying who said Debbie, you don't have to necessarily build 110 schools and now schools in every region. If you can do five, make it the best. And get it resource and let people say, this is proper. Then they will appreciate it. You see, we should prioritize our expenditure in terms of capital expenditure. Most of capital expenditure they are unable to finish until we have a lot of uncompleted projects scattered across the country.
Yeah.
Every government are all banned. To me, yes, ebeboa. Inti aban bi obeba no. We are paying yetua loan for sa project na omo ye na omo ko jiun say aban bi akoji loan. Or the best chance on to me we na oko. Fufro no beba no. Ono so person start on akasa ni project.
Ono so akoji
fufro. Inti otua previous loan no. Project no yan wie. O sa akoji fufro. Inti o say yen restrict development project of political parties or government to legacy ones. So nebeya, se ubana se usube see 10 schools krampwa. Let's take stock of how many schools are in construction stages are. Yen wiye.
Anka bituma ko
wiye. Enye una wo sha ase, it doesn't matter. This is what the government says. So we should look at certain sensitive sectors of the economy. The America said prioritization is energy, education, health. These areas, every policy of every government in development for these areas, we should not leave it in the hands of the political parties solely. From your developmental agenda, this is now National Development Planning Commission. Say, how do we want to see our education in the next 10 years? How do we want to see our health system in the next 10 years? This is now you're managing business organizations now. It is who are power no. Say who be set up say who can say you will build schools, you will build hospitals. Or say you can say they be Ghana your national development agenda and say you per say way. It is who are no. She come be fast to add generatory revenue to either complete
the already existing projects.
Then so your ability to generate money to complete it will also be in your name. Say you have been able to do so. It doesn't matter whether somebody started. Nipa na washa say na when we no who awaba na obe wie ye no wo crampo na de no nya bebre wo. So we should look at take stock of all uncompleted projects. Then we should have a national agenda. So the beya bibi ti say Saglemi housing project say enye ade a eda ho. Na mo ye beka so okay we ye for the country Ghana. E ba say na ye be mai eja ho a enhu emba mfaso. Into this project are the prioritized areas I'm talking about. Say we should prioritize them. So na be aban foforo na obeba no. So aban na otwem no ko gi loan na wantumi wi a. Kwa be na be fa so a ye be correct. Na wo be boa ama yesi. Na be the Ghanaians who are supposed to get accommodation and occupy the place can go and do so. Na be enye white elephant and ho. Enye sika nti say ye be ye ni ye bioma. We even end up spending more. And also no nipa no fa no akasa sika be ye obekwa ko gi loan na. O gi loan so na ahochiremu ekoso because wakoji loan e dia be tua loan or the tua loan we are dia be kana o de be we project no so no on to me pay we didn't ya ha yen no. But so so these are some of the key things.
Okay.
The other aspect ni said yen share industrialization.
Okay.
Who said the entire ha yen pan said we need money to develop our economy. But for you to make money in your economy, it is only when you have industrialized the economy and then you are able to generate enough into our manufacturing industry. Yeah, saying ama yankasa to me a produce. No na enye for the first time. It is about trying.
And there's Japan, China.
Yes.
Those times me kai na use so na ye title. I never acquire me fepa watches. Oto watcher. Ebi wa bones na watch the kura too. So we Chinese watch enya papa China nkwala no dey say na enya no kure. And factories na ye but omo ya enya papa. Nti once ye ka ho asem ye ya ne omo hwe baby omo ba beduru.
Yes.
But Ghana hantesa almost 30 years akumasi bed shoes ne mpaboa enye ne but ene the woman ye das wom hwe atare a ye hye ene Ghana ha nyina ye bi wo ha but say na ye fasa ne ma we nyina nti be ne product bi kra obi eye ho a the direct competitor ni amayenu ba akokwan amayenu ba mienu kwan no more cra the same product na at a cheaper price e de eba na ekele the local industry na e wo ahase no e ma no nyini e ma ye ntimi nye ho because ono no ye beginner ne the prices no was ro wa sha se onya the quality ti se de watena brochire aye no mfie bebre no ne ye sa di kun ye dwuma na e wa ha ene the politics kun ye nyuma bebre.
So it's a idea because we say wa manoni so no okbia okoji loan okoji na 3% per annum. Wow. Now uji loan wa hanum 35%, 40% per annum. How can you compete with that person?
Per annum say you jump per month na but be are aje.
So o share into one of them they say you better develop your industrial sector.
Okay.
Ama companies e wa hanu they are able to produce eba sana ebe susuaso a benefit in your bebre ebe create jobs after the economy so it will expand Nti obi abenya adwuma nketen because companies bi or collapse here, it affect a lot of people because indirect and direct jobs are all creating no. It also be brave. So we should be able to have a plan of adding value to our raw materials and produce. So for instance, cocoa. Omo a omo to cocoa ni free yensem no. Niam omo di cocoa ni ye. I finished product value no added to it. Say chocolate, say toffee, say wine. Omo nya ska no more than double.
Creams, medicine, correct. They will be brave.
Adentina, yen to me. Cocoa board acquire life cycle every year biana also ye ko jibosia. If an to cocoa beans. Na ye de nyina san ko. So why don't we say how can we produce it ourselves? Ne yanka sanso yen tompo. At least the market is there. Because emrebi bano. If there is a challenger want to means export to cocoa na. Obede. Ebegu ha pro. So why don't we have this? Someone said, Intamika said, these sectors of the economy, no, we can, if I agree, can count. You have a national development plan for say 50 years. It's a bambia or base or any manifesto, no, or be fast national development plan, no, and they are developing the manifesto. Into say, you see, you say, you add value to your cocoa. Give us your strategy based on our national plan. What you will do to add value. So you see, you say within the 10 years, we want to build 100 model schools. Give us your plan of how you want to build model schools. How do you complete it? Enye piecemeal, enye ad hoc. And this idea, obiabeba need the ejayako.
Okay, obiabeba any dear now wejay into ne uko a housing project. We SCB waha, Mampani Dada Kofoshi biase. His Excellency the late Don Evans Atamil said Eshe Biase, John Dramani Mahama and so Eshe Biase, Mona di Obeba no so a barber share for ase. We ni ya de bia MY and ne kwan ye we asha see and kesen ki twaso na yewi de bi ne agya de ato na afi ba ko na ye sha ase de atwa faso sa na asai nti emra no na ye foforo na san ye de eka ho bi ma san ato aso. We ni ya de bia MY Ghana Cocoa Board toto cocoa say bro 60 years ni the bia fe the bia isa kwa jebosia esa de babe tokoko ye to na fe no ansa na afi we ba no mfa so be na nya wo so ye ntimi mfa nhya adwumanim na ye anka se mfa isi kampon tokoko no ne mom gese esa akopɛ bosia na ye san ede ebeto we nyina ye nsensem ahodo ha Ghana emma Ghana ntimi ntumpon no ho nkomo ene na ye ne mpanyimfo mu nim de atena se ye di ho enkomo IMF bailout omudi ama Ghana sika ahodo omudi eman ehun komo na yatena se da no pay de ebro na ye wo ehun komo no bi ho aye pese yi ne de kire ya hwefo yenko ne yenko hwe no mra ye ba na afi yasa ba beto a yenko ma twetwe
$1 billion International Monetary Fund, IMF. The Ghanaian government has welcomed the $3 billion International Monetary Fund, IMF bailout, approved for the West African nation. Ghana's Finance Minister, Ken Ofori-Atta, on Thursday said the bailout will help ease the economic hardship in the country.
Ghana's IMF board approval is far from a magic solution. What it is, however, is a crucial first step on the necessary journey of strong reforms, inclusive growth, and relentless pursuit of a growth agenda geared towards restoring our economy to a place of strength, prosperity, and resilience.
The bailout, to be disbursed in at least 6 tranches over 3 years, is expected to cushion the economic toll on Ghanaians who have protested spiraling increase in the prices of goods and services.
This program and policies and reforms, together with the debt restructuring, will help Ghana overcome immediate economic and financing challenges and pave the way for a brighter future for all Ghanaians.
While authorities laud the approval of the IMF bailout, analysts warn the country needs more sustainable reforms and improved governance to complement the credit facility. This economic analyst, Louis Yo-Afu, believes there are many reasons to be cautiously optimistic.
So these monies are just to make sure that your macro environment, atmosphere is positive. already we have problems. So this one is just coming to make sure that it's cut the edges. It's to cut the edges, not necessarily to eradicate the problem, it's just to cut the edges. The real solution will come when you put your factor productivity by producing and making sure that when you are producing, you have a positive exchange. This also is coming because it has to solve our reserves issue. Our foreign reserve is depleting at a faster rate. I'm not sure it can even cover more than a month or two.
One of West Africa's regional economic hubs, Ghana has been reeling from an economic crisis as a result of soaring inflation, a weakened currency, and rising public debt that is gulping most of its revenue.
Yo, na say ensem ahodo no ebi eno no IMF ani omo kwatena se abra na omo makwan na abosia no yensa atimi aka mfie miensa 3 billion. Na say we be afibia 1 mfie miensa ansa na yensa atimi aka. Sa sika bade se de na nimdifo no kire no adwen no. O se sika no beba bati hia de no so betimi asi yechi ayensi yechi bade amaya yen ni enna sai sika we aso fi se ye no kwa amaya idi ebesa ne mum se esen bia ede ebiem ede na ye na ye de ato aso eje se strengthen the industrial sector no na etimi aboy nyina ye nim sa de we ekwan be na ye fa so ye na etimi aboy na bosia hodo a ye je yesa eso etimi etwa ede amai Mr. Tawe Madam Mauti said ye na empanyfo no edi ehun komo de na ayeye how kese e bia ye jiska e bia bobosia nanso still ye besa akọ jiska ye besa akọ bobosia de ade na ye nye no ye already when it come my at political sides no say na ye hwa na ye wasanso ama ye hu economic side wasan the industrial komo esa betu man no ye twa so na ye the free hokoje video no buy ye say to aso industrial side then na yenye no yie ewo ho no mo a ma da bia ye kọ ye economics kakra yesua no school kakra de chese o man bia betumpon a we industrial development free ho no ma enya de say ebe Ghana ye to anamoyi ti e behwe na ye industrial development betimi akoso na ye sika 7 ho ntoto ye no so etimi akonkan de amai
mpacho adiba ko a ha ye industrial sector na ye two factors, external and then internal. External factor is pressure every amano neighbor because almost produce here, pay omaya, the because aquaton. Enti all boa no. Most of these loans that we go for from these countries, there are conditions attached to the loans. Now, obiti say IMF no onu akasa eni ni sika. Onu nya funding support eno de boa.
If you are my ho.
Eno de boa. And na so baby asika no free call IMF no so no individual so no mo social ase never say individual be na ye fan say oton he deals in rice all this kind of man conditions be ka ho say I have to export this rice to this nation enti ye me ka che say jai but o ka che say ye develop your local rice industry no be ka che say ye nya ABCD no be ye no ni nyina no e yo de enti anka intentionally no you bet me because we have the capacity but because of this pressure he is forced to make sure say that person is able to sell you bet say okay aban bia no we want to buy cars from Katanka now so be a pressure be that baby so make sure say you must buy this number of V8 from this company so aban can't do anything because there's a condition to it that we must produce and ship to you. So these pressures are one. Now answer the pressure is because form. Just say yankasa, we become tough on ourselves. You see, in life, when you are tough on yourself, life will be easy
for you.
But when you are easy on yourself, life will be tough. So we have to learn how to be tough on ourselves. When you are like that, it helps you to take decisions that will help you. 83 na come by, you know. And you na do aduane a you to make video. And the even say you see even import a more crampo bioma. Na se kakra na ye wo no before be realize no. Kon ye be fast wa ye be dua ama yankasa ye di no. Emre no samre na twem no asotare rice.
Yeah.
And then you see any the basata no obenye di crampo no. Who say you this and you the crampo by. So when we learn how to eat our own, we enjoy just like Nigeria. We go to Nigeria and man with Nigeria rice and you there because you are used to the perfume ones. But omo te hono. Amadia ayom there. You see, so gradually, ebeye in there. And now we have the capacity to produce those kind of quality ones. Right, so, in external forces, no, enye, no, yes, pesa yes so anwa. Jise yankasa yakache ye huse. Ye bet to me ask squeezy. Number 2, internal no, our political system. Intenipa no oba pa ononim say project ya me ye bet take 4 years. Ansana dividend no, ana result no asa aba. Now 4 years no, ambeka se manye hwe. Eno nti no menkwa meeting koshimu. Ma menkoye bibia ye quick, easy.
2 years, 1 year.
2 years ne ad hoc en faso aba, de aka no eko. Nti so ba beka say okay, let me reduce taxes. So that we can import more food. Ne do ni ben dos wo krom. Ani be dos wo krom e ba ma obi ehun. Wo kai coffee rice. Some time ago. 2000 election ni ba ye no. I see coffee wayo.
Yeah,
rice.
And more why you rice?
Are you rice?
And then you bugu kapum. Sometimes they 20 persons who say, "Hey, ukuta one city abenya bi, ukuta hey."
It will be any say it any ba. Now so be obedient ani yes, e ka be spy. It you see no fan ko bibi na yen ko chemo mo. It is obi out sorry na ni niema e ka e chest obe e be spy. Now see buy one get 2 free. Obe so depleting in stock. So this was say dia mami nkoche into be feel say o di cheo now so so we see we have to learn to understand some of these strategies. We have to be very practical in the way we do things, and we can be able to manage ourselves. I go look at Brodier.
See me call park we move friend of Russia. I go Russia park. Brodier. You mo dey ko Burkina, you mo dey ko Togo, you mo dey Accra. Hey. And ohwe Brodier ne the ebe say we chire bro track bear 50. Brodier hodo ifra gogo ede ko.
Yes.
Nti afterwards ede biem na ede say buy product na ka chire ndi na ede na say yetena se ne ka say ye bibia betimi aye. Ne mom ye hia ense ye na yetimi aye.
What you say nansan na COVID buy no edrobebi no. O man be to say Indonesia they say they are no more exporting.
Yeah.
Rice because almost show my so inti BBC wo Ukraine and Russia and my one chain BBC wo Ghana how will it affect the world?
Nothing there bibia affect you bia
ukoko no wonu na ho bechiu
ya be ko awu kra enyo because
inti yes no say obi beka say ye nto ye koko. How can we sit here and somebody should come and tell us galamse na ye no say ye njaya koko no ye ntombio asana yatumi aye because say they will start their iron element in the cocoa. It is a way jaya ye nton cocoa biom. Ansana ye ni beba ye hu say ye jai. So you see we are people who know what to do but we don't have to
do it.
We don't. So we need to have leaders who will come and be so selfless and be tough on ourselves. Na be ya ye be ye die esese ye na ebe boa ye. Look at Rwanda some years ago.
Oh, the Rwanda chow cry
umpe.
And never the honor because my mania leader or do see yo.
Yes.
But then Tessa, he answer what we say no be and what I say. And ye 2 abama monet, yen 2 abama beam no jai. And you own your crab beam. Now for mine the hosa. Then you use a penny side. As I am why more mine into me.
Oh, can be a tribuna AMB, now they were clearing people from the street.
Yeah.
And they resisted.
Yeah.
But afterward, the same people came to commend
AMA
for doing that because Ama Chrome at it. So we just need. That's why the question is that is it that what we are saying here? I can say no. Omunim, but
no
pressure no. It's not make no. And the pressure will only reduce when we decide to live within our means. Inti o my Ghana no answer na yebet me amasa nyama we nyina ye ama obia we school at least betimi anya bibia ye no gise ye ma we gise we become tough on ourselves say no matter what we can manage our own affairs. How do you manage our own affairs? Of course, managing your own affairs doesn't mean say you are not going to get external support. No.
Oh, that one there, no country even does that.
Exactly. You need each other.
Yeah.
So you can't. So you need support from one country or the other. But let their support not override your own. Inti the obeka cho say no.
Eno na obey.
Eno na obey because unsa ehye Look at our own common values, like this LGBTQ, for instance.
Our leaders can talk about it.
It's so strange.
So strange. His Excellency John Dramani Mahama na Monchay. Mo kan kire Akufo-Addo no kan bi mahwe. Onso ka bi mayintie so betimi aka.
Exactly.
Because Osuru says
apart from Professor Amisu was definite.
Say me. Sadi we there.
Exactly. That you can keep your values. We have our own values. It is so strange. So that is the reason for the forces. Is it because omu de hu bia hye wo mu?
No, say Mr. Tekwe onsa so achi adware a. This issue men kan ho asem kora. But metime krom me ye de mepe.
That is it.
Because men sa so achi adware.
Yes. You see when who say utumi hwe ohun so a, they themselves now will come and partner you. Because they know say okay, say yemboa wa e come de crampo a man hu say come de. Mo so bi wo ho a ne hu chi ne crampo a hu.
Yeah.
What ase say I am at a crossroad in my life. Min kosre ma min say ebetwem. Inti oye adwuma wonti ase e bi adwuma no ye crampo na ketua ye de ma no enso no. But on him say it is a time in his life he is doing it for some gain tomorrow or gainy bibi or learning bibi. He is still going through some moment of teachings in training in his life. So we have to understand say there should be that time in our lives. But unfortunately, we have not come into consciousness of that politically. I say politically because we are looking at our political cycle. It is a me free swa. Membe kishu say me hun ko chire and nonte let me gather some resources for the future. Na me free swa me nye bie ni bibusu edi.
Yeah.
You see, these are some of the things that drive leaders such that they are not able to, not even in political leadership alone, but even in private leadership. When you are kwenya wamanu akwenya kakrebi, so oye bibi mao. Udi no akotina wo store ano, so hwe so mao. Instead so be hwe so mimbo nipa we kakra. Na kakra no ebe pejam no.
Debi okogu adwuma na constant.
O hwe se na nipa we ya meti ni nchen ye na adwuma na o china o close store ya medi den. Nti kwa obefa so no. So we are people that we need to be tough on ourselves, and it must come from our leaders. No matter how they say, the same people will come back and glorify you. I don't think we stick to their system. We are happy the way they do their things, even though there's corruption there.
Yeah.
But we go there.
Yeah, but they're baha.
It's the same person who goes out and is so disciplined. Ghana, ye wo good name power manone. Why if you say Ghana ni bi obetu kwan bia no, ohwe ne ho ye, he's disciplined. But obedu ha no ma,
oye de ope.
No, ye de ope. Adenti because ukoye say wo na obeye discipline. The system will frustrate you and you have no option. Because who are person obeye de ye no, ho be chill. Even in government, yes you make sure that the right thing is done.
Oh.
They will brand you.
Wow,
they will brand you to be either bibi how. And I say, oh, you
are not conforming to party laws.
But there's hope for Ghana. Serious hope.
Sure.
Because we say it's about education. Into why ye call your name now generation they are being educated and they need to do the right thing. When people do leaders they will understand say no, it is not about myself. Gradually, we are changing our educational system, so things are changing. There's serious hope. And then, I say, now so generations to come, no, they will be very much. Generations to come, no, to me, can be a channel. Say, your man, who shares na unkrofana and Korana no motino, the way they interrogate and probe things and ask you questions, that is what is come to happen. Into be a leader, you will not get somebody and think that because one man position T, be on to me, can catch you. And so that is why there's so much hope for Ghana. We will get there.
Empire in your bo and no if you say your leaders nina adwuna kwakwaye ba kope ekwan obefa so no oba political power enko na ehia no nti so obedi atro oba bibia oba ketatse no proye se de be ya nsa beka tumi no na ehia no me kai last week obi adi tudwa o say oba Ghana hasaya is very sad is we are not building a country, we are rather building political parties and politicians and nko na ehia said the bay a party we be ba said the bay a party be see nti bibia ni oh ye we said the bay be bo party ma said the che say yenwene we are na okokasa asimi anu asan ka che na party ma for no mu ye togo for but kwan be na ofa so a obo is it the right way, is it the right way I build the political parties nti kwan bia ne party be nya sika de egu ho na 2024 elections o ma ye and as a kwan bia be fa so e be di atro ye be kansa mu ehu hia ye be mo mu aye hu be my say oh china kra no ya kwada kra de nche no benya tumi nko ani hia no se be ye o man no betumpon de ekho no mo nya nasem nti osuro se obeka se mento aba mawo sense obeka no krempo a kire ne se ade a wo ye enye emfa so bia emfa mre enne sa na ye nyina ya kwakwe ye nyina ye so ye Christopher ye nyina ye so ye nkremosomfo nti di ade na ye a ebitimi ama o my Ghana etimi etu empon ene ye hwe ya asem na ye mfa ye nkomotwetwe no emra awie sika na hyase e ba 600 e ba enche side bi be ba be ka ho sika e be ya hodui ani da so ho ana ye be call campaign mo enche e be sa di nyina akotena ka so atu agu amanfo so amani nyina ahye akọ
o sika na ba ne de yentumi enye no rough meka ne sa de bibia o se e no e be call because abaji na yeso nti IMF the abaji na yeso they will do a review every 6 months. In the next review, June, into Ombe review who say, answer na next Kabebano. Ombe said, dear, you see, who this can be a call. Into Sakana, and yet Sakana, you give IMF Horne, Babe Boaga now. David. Nasakani, they are saying, now, who G 3 billion in 3 years? What would 600 million they are saying? Now, even fuel I use to my Ghana. Every month, we need about $400 million to import fuel. In 600 million by then, even one area.
Abrai to be wa
na ye kaya di over 400 billion cedis into all the 400 million 600 million cedis dollars every day so infrastructure wo ho eba edi magana ni se sasika we ba beboa edia tua ye kane bi e kane bi wo ho a eye niama ye kra un say we have what we call import cover.
Yeah.
The ebema way to me, sky wo ho to me ma wo dia import essential commodities. I hu hia pa to me because to me ka say ye this kind yen crap petrol. I hu chebe ba pa. And until ska no it is come to solve certain critical problems. It's not come to solve all problems of Ghana. But ba say obi be hu say oh, say who to me ko IMF, e ko gi IMF sika de say ya hihye IMF di tu kwan mu asa na wo ko gi omusika no. Let's say wusaka dia and say say an woman no e ba be da kwan papa so a e be ye woman no be ye yie nti e be ma omo a na nka omo mpese omo be invest wo woman no no now investors will start having confidence and start bringing money into so bi wa ma no ne pese be ye project bi wo Ghana o di sika beba abesi dan na wa ma obi akonye adwuma ye on fan ba obeka say na be di corner say o man no collapse a wan hwe e be ba jimi dan free me sem sisi ano o di beba na niama ekoso no obi su wo ho pese obe invest obe bie ejuma bi na oman ye mu ye mi ko bie ejuma me den na menya ska crampo e dia $1 e dia bre e dia ko odim se okay sisi anu niama beba form dollar nso e beba form sisi city no will be stable se sa dia I can now go and do that investment into infaso a e beba no afesu umbe hu se inflation e be ma prices of goods and services so be ko form ni se sa dia metumi a plan me pese me ye bibi in the next 2 years I mean plan so this is my forecast emrebe na twem no untumi plan even in a day because a day no enema ebe sesan to you cannot have any meaningful forecast in a day we ebe boa amaniama akofom afi so sisi ano ye se bibi a debt our debt situation ema ekosro nti ema rating agencies downgrade Ghana who say offshore investors omo hwe these rating agencies say Ghana economy saying they've downgraded us to junk status. Now they brought us to moderate. They say ye kosro kakakra ye kosro no na nkofo so enya confidence wo ye den as the investor ni de se niam ekoye wo mo ma obeba because otite odina na otite enti ebeboa no afesu first no na nkan ye be kwakotua eka ye be kwakoto euro dollars e de kwakotua ka ebe ma dollar rate no be koso bebre e san debt restructuring enti sa pressure no abafom enti e ma pressure and better or minus ubium. So these are some of the things advantages are brilliant. Now disadvantage is say you have taxes bebre. When I'm gonna be fast when you scan, I will say you fast. These are some of the things boa or mind sikana ebani there. And yes, eba solve your problem. Nemo edi that's what edi bebre or minor.
Okay, edi that's what edi bebre or minor. Say yinyina ye say ni da so be bad ya ma my Ghana na yetimi e free adomo akọ adomo ayefo ya twetwe nkomo no ebebre edi ensem ahodo no ebebre ye pese ye to nkomo no so we ye fiefie mu ye nyina ye hwekwan ye befa so a Ghana e be santimi agina ne nan so ebiem we ene ye nyina ye ni so ade hu no aha ene ye de Ghana ni adwumadie ne nkomo twetwe no esi ye dan ho na de to aso no so ye de asomo meda panyini ene oba mi ede nkomo no ba ya se ye papa ona daje wanya ede amaye nsema hodo bebre waka ye mfa mmobra sempanyimfo na entimi eboy ye sorry so ne adan ho na de to aso no so ye de ababeso enko ba bia ye basisia